Bros Play!
Alright, everyone, welcome back to a No Pants to Shit!
Oh, man. Cut those trousers off.
This is in a video I wrote a long time ago that I'll eventually get to, about how open world games deal with moving across the open world. I love specific point fast travel. That, to me, is the only way to balance fast travel.
Now, can I clarify something?
What's that?
When you say specific point, you mean more like we have a subway system, you have to go to one of these stops, rather than like the Oblivion way where
Yes.
you can go anywhere once you've made it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Agreed.
Like you can only fast travel to a bus stop from a bus stop. It makes the world feel as big as it actually is. When you can fast travel anywhere and the only limitation is that enemies can't be around you, it just makes the world feel tiny. And I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Well, it also makes it feel tedious because you're thinking, especially when you start a new game, oh, I want to go to this castle. I guess I'm going to spend 7 minutes walking from this town. Yeah, I don't like that feeling. But I think this game does a perfect job where the buses are at the 4 cardinal points, but usually you'll find it ends up being kind of awkward. It's like, ooh, I guess I have to go to this bus and then backtrack down that direction.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. Woo! That was close.
Can you just hide until they get out? That's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, they're beautiful, these enemies. Let's see if I can give it night. It's awful, man.
Some bouncy enemies.
Yeah, some machete murders going on. Those are bullets.
We don't need.
Oh, there's a lot of guys over here.
Uh-oh.
Holy shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that was not what I meant to do. Nice. That's what I'm looking for.
Uh-oh. Guy on your right with a shotgun. That's a hefty swing you got there.
It is a pretty hefty swing. I think I might be going down here.
Uh-oh. Excuse me, sir. Just let me pop my elbow back.
Yeah, please don't
place.
shoot me in the interim. Because the worst part is they take 2. You gotta slash them to the ground, and then you gotta stab them, or else they'll take out a pistol and make your day a nightmare.
They had.
See, like this guy.
They had the COD 4 Last Stand perk on.
Yeah, pretty much every one of them. This is
Holy
ridiculous.
moly.
Yeah, I don't know who's up here, but he's starting to piss me off. Yeah, there he is.
Oh, I didn't even see that, man.
I know, and you can only tell because of the direction that damage comes from. Oh, and he's got a sniper. That's why he was such a problem.
Yeah.
All right. I see what you folks are up to.
This game's good.
It is, man. I think this is way better than the 3rd game.
Oh,
huge margin.
3 was the death of the series.
Yeah.
Like, if Entertain the Elk did video games, it would be the day Far Cry died. It would be the 3rd one, because that's where every bad element of Ubisoft games became established. Like, they essentially created an open world with almost no map design, and then just put nodes down, essentially. So it's like, here is activity 1, here is activity 2, here is completing tower to unlock map level 1. Like, it's just it's boring. It's
the open world game with towers.
Yeah.
The fun thing about this game is there are towers if you look. You see those little communication things, but those are missions. Those are not where you reveal the map.
Yeah.
Ooh, great. Now I have explosives.
It can be done well. The mech dinosaur game.
The
Horizon
Zero Dawn.
That game had like 7 Brachiosaurus dinosaurs that you climbed. So they moved around, and you had to like wait at platforms to jump on top of them to climb up to get information about the area. But it opened up the whole section, not just a tiny little bit.
Well, when towers are a completion item, that's what pisses me off, because it's tedious. It's a lot of, let me drive from here to here. Well, I guess you don't always drive, but
Breath of the Wild does it phenomenal too. Like, you can see them from so far away. They change color when you complete them, so you can see the distant red ones that you need to get and the blue ones that you've already accomplished. And they kind of treat them like little puzzle, or not puzzles, obstacle courses.
The game does sound pretty dope, I must say.
Now, we're only talking about it for 4 years, so.
I know, and it's an unfortunate thing for me, because is it a Nintendo game?
It is, Nintendo Switch game.
Because I haven't had a Nintendo platform since GameCube.
Yeah, well,
slightly disconnected from everything they do.
If the Switch had a fucking price drop in 4 years, I might be able to play it.
Yeah, that is definitely a challenge.
Like $400 is a lot.
It is a lot, well, especially when we have a lot of other games, and so it's not like you're going to spend all of your time on the Switch, right?
No, and I get that I spent more than that on the PS5.
But you're going to play the PS5 a hell of a lot more than the Switch.
I already have, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives you access to all of your PS4 games, too, without having to rebuy them, which is a pretty big change for me.
It's also, like, graphically so vastly superior.
Yeah, and for me, the graphic thing is really just about whether it can perform 60 FPS, which it can in a lot of cases.
I know, it's actually amazing how sensitive you are to that.
It's not even a choice of mine. Like, I'm not being like a prude about it or anything.
Well, it doesn't seem like it's not an enjoyment thing. It's not a like, oh, well, things are always better in 60. You know, it's more like, fuck, I can't enjoy this. It's not 60.
I can't play this.
I can't bring myself to enjoy it.
I have tried. Man, have I ever tried. I mean, I played like, I don't know, 30-something hours of Red Dead 2 at lower than 30 FPS. That was hard. That was really hard to do, and it was only because it was such a good game. Just
you really enjoyed
so
that.
much fun to play with friends. It took the concept of multiplicity, the way that things interact with each other, to multiply the opportunities that Breath of the Wild kind of established.
Well,
where, like, instead of just saying there is fire to set enemies on fire and there is ice to freeze them, there's fire, which can be, you can set grass on fire and then use your glider to fly up on the updraft. There's, you can't use a fire if it's raining unless you're underneath something that stops the rain. In lightning, if you're using a metal weapon, you will get struck by lightning. But if you drop it in front of an enemy and they pick it up because it's a better weapon than their wooden weapon, they'll get struck by lightning.
No way.
Like, wooden clubs can be set on fire and then tossed back to enemies. Like, there are people who have since then been making like top whatever amount of things you didn't know about Breath of the Wild, that they consistently make new things you just didn't know about.
Yeah, more and more content.
There's so many things that you can do that even the developer might not have quite expected people to do. But
when you start doing object-oriented programming and you start giving things properties within the game world, it is sometimes difficult to expect how they're going to actually be used.
Yep.
I love that part of it as well, the idea that even the developer, even though, like, they had their own ideas for what was going to happen, but they don't know how it's actually going to be used. Like, for example, when you look at Super Smash Bros. Melee, wave dashing, they had no idea wave dashing was going to be possible. They built in the character's ability to slide to make the game smoother. Right? And it ended up creating what I would consider an abomination, but it's just part of games and how they evolve on their own.
Yeah, there's videos of developers reacting to speedruns of their game. And it's pretty interesting when they are laughing in a way that's like, why did I bother like polishing this? Because you've destroyed it all, but I'm also kind of impressed with it.
Yeah, there was one with Fallout, the New Vegas, where the person just like walks into like a cliff or something, and they just get teleported across the map.
Yeah, they just fly.
And I was like, oh, I didn't mean that. That was not part of the game.
I watched one of the fourth Crash Bandicoot game, and they were like, all right, because the guy's using this forward dash to slide across platforms that they didn't think you could do. So he's got momentum that they didn't expect him to be able to have, and it makes him move through sections that are supposed to be very difficult and with great ease.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And it also just goes to show, like, you give people enough time, and those people will end up creating all kinds of ridiculous holes in your game.
Yeah. My favorite is the more technologically advanced for its time, the more holes that game has in it.
For its time, yeah.
Because it's not using something established, it's trying to break boundaries, and so the back end is very messy compared to what you actually see as a gamer. So, like, Ratchet and Clank has this thing where you can hella jump forward and maintain momentum, and then increase it every time you jump. So you start to move way further, even though your height isn't any higher. You're moving so fast that you can move through sections of the level that have no unit collision because you couldn't get there.
Oh, whoa.
So a glitch version of a Ratchet and Clank playthrough has you moving through the level in like 30 seconds. It's crazy.
That's amazing, yeah.
And then once you've flown through a section that has no unit collision, you have to land on something that does, otherwise the game says, no, you're dead. So,
oh, because you'll fall through, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That I also like, is that's like, not hacking, but it's like the word I want to use, where you're coming up with you have to come up with all your own rules.
Yeah.
Right? Because all of a sudden you're beyond the boundaries of the game, so you can't rely on the developer to help you.
Do you know in Jak 2 you have to get the yellow pass or the red pass, I think is the first pass you have to get through to, like, the city is divided into sections and you need to get a pass to move through a big wall.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
There's a section at the beginning of the game where if you're driving a speeder, you can double jump up through a building that has no unit collision and right through the thing. And then once you land, it just goes, oh, you must have the pass, and then it just opens up.
So it actually just assumes that it made the mistake or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is good game design. Like, it's
yeah,
interesting
so it doesn't break.
when the game has these little bits in it where it's like, it doesn't need all 8 things in a row. If you've done the 8th thing, it's like, well, I guess you've already done 7 things before it.
Generally makes sense, but that's an easy way to get your game broken.
Yeah, that's what beta testing is for.
Oh, yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, what's more important? That your game remain in its purest state, or that the people who paid for it enjoy it?
Yeah, it depends who you ask. But
I know that, but I also know what the answer should be.
I mean, just since getting the PS5, I have gone and played a bunch of games that didn't run very well on the PS4. And what was interesting was, without the fog of shitty performance, I was able to see that the game itself is just shitty. Or good. So in a lot of cases, the era like 2006, I think, is kind of when it started to do this kind of nonsense, when this game has the long car ride, where games are now doing that regularly, where they're just making you watch like the longest bullshit of being like, no, look, let me teach you how to open the menu.
Yeah,
I was
and
playing,
don't go anywhere until you do.
There are some games I play where I become afraid of the menu, because every time I go back in there, it's like, let me show you something else. And it's in such an unintuitive fashion that it doesn't even actually teach it to me. Like, I don't actually understand what it is that you've shown me. You just made me press X at a bunch of times. I don't really know how that works.
That's a great point, because it's like when somebody asks you about something on their computer and you do it for them.
Right.
They may have seen where you clicked, but there's no way they're going to remember that as well as if you had shown them.
No, it's a lot like... And I get that you're trying to craft an experience. You know, I was replaying God of War, and I'm like, I understand why the cinematics aren't skippable, because everything bleeds into the next thing. Gameplay, you're moving through a space, and then it takes control of the camera, and now you've got cinematic camera view. And then it comes back, and it comes behind your character, and now you're playing again. It's nice and seamless and interesting.
Part of an experience.
It is part of an experience, but it's not like you couldn't have removed the cinematics. And even more so, I've never seen a game that where there's a game option where you can just put in skip cinematics, so I don't have to keep going, right?
That's a good point. Like, just blanket skip all cinematics.
Yes, I want to play game because I have watched your story before and it was great the first time, but now I'm coming back to play it again. I don't want to watch the story again. I've already seen that.
And it's fair. It's like they think that somehow invalidates the game experience.
Yeah, my whole thing was like,
shit.
We worked too hard on this for you to not watch it. That's sort of my interpretation of where they're going with that.
That is a good way to look at it. That is what's happening.
Yeah, it's money. Animation is money. So if your cinematics are there and you paid people to animate, and does it count if your friend uses guns?
I am gonna allow it.
Okay.
He said he's dry anyways. So.
He showed up to save you with like 3 shotgun shells.
Oh my god, they're still here. They got out. They got out. This is supposed to be a convoy that never stops, but oh no, now they're shit. Stupid. You know what? I'm taking this truck. It's in better condition. What even happened to you? I didn't even hurt you. You just killed yourself. All right, back on the road again. Where is this truck? It's right behind me. What the hell? This is the absolute worst. Okay, I'm just gonna kill the driver. Yeah, there we go. And then it's not going anywhere.
I like how he's dressed differently. Like, this is what drivers look like. They wear jerseys.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen the driver jersey agreement of 2007?
No.
Yeah,
it's before my time.
It agreed that all drivers must have some jersey as long as it is from the local home team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you'll see.
So Kevin Smith would be a great truck driver.
Probably, yeah.
Because he. Oh my!
Yeah, I bounced it.
Oh,
inadvertently.
Oh,
bounced it off the ground.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, see, those aren't the most reliable.
You don't say.
That's why I moved this truck way the hell over here. Oh my goodness.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, part of it is it's not my RPG. It's one that I found on the ground.
But that's what I'm talking about with multiplicity. You've put a thing in the game that acts differently based on how the player chose to use it, and it did something that totally unexpected. Bouncing rockets? I've never seen that in a video game before.
I know. And the best is that the bouncing kind of makes a little bit of sense, like especially because those RPG rockets normally aren't active until a certain range. But for it to hit the ground and then spin in circles like that, like a firework, yeah, that was good.
Well, without a tail or a rudder, things with projectiles usually just do whatever they want. And
totally.
And it's really easy for them to get into a spiral because the spiral causes the. By the way, we don't have the audio on, so if it seems like Derek is sometimes a little less attentive.
Like I can't tell there's people around me.
Yeah, it's because he can't.
Yeah, and that is totally on me. I turned the volume down way too far for this.
That's a really cool themed video idea, dude.
What?
We should play a game where the audio isn't on, even for the audience. So
yeah,
they get the experience as well, and we'll call it The Sound of Silence.
I was gonna say we call it Sound of Bros Play. But...
I don't know, I was just going with mine.
Uh-oh. Unskippable movements is, I actually think, an important part of gaming, but can be very annoying. I'm playing Hitman Blood Money right now.
Nice.
For a similarly fun playthrough.
Nice.
And one of the problems is when you start reloading, you can't do jack shit. Mm-hmm. You can't switch weapons, you can't pause, you can't do anything. Can't activate a door. Like, you're just gonna reload until you're done.
It's called reload cancel. That's the expression for stopping it.
Ah.
They added it into Siege like 3 years into the game, and it was fucking amazing. Like, everyone that I played with was like, reload canceling!
Why? Yeah, I'm surprised that wasn't a part of the game to begin with.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty simple thing to include.
This is going to come off overly harsh, but that game was good because Ubisoft didn't expect it to do well, so they didn't pay attention to its development, and they let somebody actually do something artistic and interesting and new. So
instead of just being a bunch of bricks.
Yeah, a bunch of like, well, we're going to color the bricks differently this one, and it's going to cost $69 again.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But hey, costs us money to change the bricks to a different color, so it makes sense. I think there's actually an Xbox Series X in the engine there.
In the engine?
That's seriously what it looks like. It's just a brick. It looks like a fancy like modern art piece.
I've kind of noticed that these cars likely would not get very far, and I would love to buy one of these vehicles that you can repair just by turning a bolt. Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, big. I can't even come up with this joke right now. It's like big safety. I was saying.
Oh yeah,
like that. It's like
big engine repair.
Big engine companies, they don't want you to know about the single turn crank repair.
Yeah. I know they told you need a new set of spark plugs, but really you just got to tighten the bolts down a little bit more.
Have you seen there's a documentary, Who Killed the Single Crank Engine?
No. What? That's got to be a joke.
It's a play.
What?
It's a play on words. I'm fucking with you.
Oh, okay.
Who Killed the Electric Car was the right one.
But you know what life is like now. There's no reason that couldn't be reality. Who killed the one-stroke motor? Let's find out tonight on 2020.
Well, one stroke and one turn crank is a different thing.
And there is no such thing as a one-stroke motor.
No.
It doesn't exist.
Two-stroke is the smallest, right?
Is the lowest, yes. It would be, a one-crank motor would be basically a misfire. Pow! And then that's it.
It would just start to stop. You have to get out, push the piston back down.
And then get back in the car.
Pow! We call this a top-of-the-hill car.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It doesn't really go to the top of the hill. But if you and your friends,
We used to call it a bump start, but it's the only way to start this one, so we call it the ignition.
This is it's the Ford bump start.
We did a repair on my girlfriend's vehicle, and she has a V6. And what we found out is that you know how a traditional V6 is set up. Like, have you ever seen a muscle car where it's got like the V style engine and you see all the cylinders going off to the sides? Well, her V is turned 90 degrees.
Holy moly!
So I know, chaos. Her V is turned so that half of the V is facing the cabin and the other half is facing forward.
My goodness.
Towards the road. Yeah, so it's a really strange setup. And I was thinking about it, why is it so weird? And then I realized they probably couldn't do that in old style engines because a lot of the cylinders were exposed. They didn't always have coverings on their cylinders. So if you had it turned that way, it'd be shooting like oil and fire and shit out of the cylinders at you, right? So I guess it's more of a modern car design. But what it does mean is the back half of the V is buried. So you can get the first half of the spark plugs out, no problem. Second half took 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, gotta love it.
That's bizarre.
Alrighty, next time we will get the second convoy.
Yeah.
Sha-sha.